Us right now is Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi from Illinois. He's also running for U.S. Senate right now as Senator Durbin is retiring. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. One of the things that is swirling on Capitol Hill is exactly what John and Jeremy were just talking about. What is going to happen with the Jeffrey Epstein files and the fact that attention and focus on it and more transparency around it is not going away? The last time you were on the show, you kind of pushed off the focus on the Epstein files. That was earlier this month, saying that that is not what your constituents are focused on right now. Do you think they are now?
I think somewhat. I think they're still focused on economic issues, the chaos right now that bedevils them in so many ways. I think here on Capitol Hill, I think Democrats and a lot of Republicans are just calling for disclosure of these files so we can kind of put this issue behind us. Unfortunately, there's tremendous infighting among Republicans on this particular issue. I think it only reinforces with voters that unfortunately these Republicans are not focused on the issue of the tariff chaos that's bedeviling small businesses or the fact that things remain unaffordable for them, as the recent inflation figures indicate.
Republican lawmakers are saying that they are getting calls into their offices now from constituents about the Epstein investigation and the files. Are you?
Some. Maybe not as many as into certain Republican offices, but overwhelmingly people say just disclose the files. What's in the files? Disclose them. Show us full transparency as to this issue. And as you can tell, a lot of Republicans here agree with that. And it's basically locking up the legislative process because there's so many people who oppose disclosing those files. Again, it's really disconnected to the economic reality that a lot of my constituents are complaining about, so it just frustrates them more.
With the disclosure, if you will, could come down to is who decides what is credible, because that is what the president has now put as basically the marker of the Attorney General Pam Bondi. If she deems their credible information to be released, then she should release all credible information. Do you trust the Attorney General Pam Bondi to be that decider, that last final word on what is credible to be released or not?
No, I think she should just disclose all the files and just allow people. So do you think
there should be congressional hearings like we're now hearing louder calls for from Capitol Hill, like from Senator Josh Hawley?
I think that there should be hearings to the extent that they're resisting release of these files. I think that there's just not enough transparency as to many of the things that are happening with the Trump administration right now, and this is among them, and I think this will come up in the Oversight Committee as well.
That's definitely could be one committee where that will come up, and you can be sure if you ever watch the Oversight Committee that you're on, it will be spicy. Maybe that's the right word for it. I want to ask you a little bit about the midterms, if I can, because I had the chair of the DCCC, the House Democrats campaign arm, on yesterday, and she said that when it comes to redrawing of congressional maps, that's really been forced back into the spotlight. If Texas is going to do what it's going about doing right now, rewriting congressional maps to try to win more Republican seats, then Democratic-led states should do the same. And Illinois is one state that has been talked about since Democrats control the state ledge and the governorship, is doing this. Do you want to see Illinois rewrite congressional maps to try and benefit Democrats more?
Well, I think we just went through that exercise in Illinois. I think that right now what we're seeing is kind of a situation in Texas where they recognize that they're basically going to lose the majority in the House, in part because of the fact that the big, beautiful bill, which I call the large, lousy law, is going to hurt so many of their constituents. And in addition, people just feel the chaos of the economy is hurting them personally. For the first time, Kate, I'm talking to people on the phone who are being laid off. These are people solidly in the middle class who are being laid off because of this chaos. And so I think that they recognize that this puts them in a lot of political peril, and that's why they're doing what they're doing in Texas.
But you don't think Illinois is the place for Democrats to, to use the phrase that we heard from Beto O'Rourke, fight fire with fire?
I'm not hearing that Illinois is necessarily going to go through this process again. Mm-hmm. As it is, I think that Illinois has a lot of good Democrats representing much of the state.
Yeah.
But I think that, again, we're going to take back the majority fair and square in the 2026 midterms.
It's good to have you on, Congressman. Thank you for your time.